Aries, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. So today is your reading, your October 2016 reading. Sorry, this will be about 15-20 minutes at the most, if I can. I don't want it to be too long, because you've got your love reading as well that you can check up on. So your advice of the month is the Ten of Swords, Aries. And when we get the Ten of Swords, it's about being defeated, perhaps being very depressed, perhaps giving up on a situation. Sometimes this card relates to other people's ideas and sentiments that might be getting us down. But with the Ten of Swords, sometimes this is an advice card, can mean, you know, relax, the worst is over. Or it can be relax, there's nothing you can do about the situation. So maybe you need to try another course of action with the Ten of Swords. Because sometimes what happens with this situation is there's literally nothing you can do about it. So the best thing to do is just to have a look at another way of doing it. So to relieve yourself from this victimization mode, or from the mode of, you know, I cannot do anything about a particular situation, I completely give up, it means to change tact, to have a look at another way of doing something. Your general energies for the month are showing us the Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, which is an interesting combination. Some of you guys might be considering a move. If we were to put down the keywords together, well, we know that the Seven of Pentacles is somebody who is considering all of the efforts that they've put into a particular situation within their lives. Usually this card will show up when somebody is looking at the money that they've made from a particular project. How much I've got, how much do they need to make further? Sometimes this means when somebody's come to a crossroads with the Seven of Pentacles, so therefore they're evaluating which direction to take. Do I consider going with the flow, going with what I've already built up, or do with this ace at the bottom of the card, do I look at going in another direction? We have the Knight of Wands here. Now, Knight of Wands does represent a home move or a career move, or just a change in direction, but really this is the card of being ambitious, motivated, being very, very courageous, and also it's the card of the person who's inquisitive, because Knights are always on the move, okay? They're the action takers within the tarot. They're the people who are fearless. They're the knights that rush in and save us. They're the knights in shining armour. So some of you guys might be pursuing, taking a direction, a different direction. You might be pursuing, you might be trying to hurry something up as well, because the Knight of Wands can mean to rush or to hurry. And it's chasing into this Seven of Pentacles. So it's rushing to the Seven of Pentacles. Some of you guys might be receiving some aid in terms of finances. So with the Ten of Swords saying, you know, there's nothing that you can do about a particular situation, it might be with the Ten of Swords, the advice is, don't worry, the worst is over. Something might not have worked, but something else will. So for some of you guys, when you get the Knight, say for example, you have the Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, any one of those cards can show somebody coming to your rescue, somebody giving you some help. So for some of you guys, Aries, it might be that you receive some assistance in the month of October. It could be over a financial situation. So if you are evaluating your finances because you are looking to probably push finance into a home move or a new business or whatever the case might be, it might be that you have a saviour, or you have somebody who is rushing in to give you some assistance with that. For some of you, you might be considering a home move. I feel that you're considering some form of a change anyway, and for some of you guys, you're looking at some form of assistance, perhaps because the advice card is that there is nothing you can do about a particular situation at the moment. You might have given up on a certain tact. Plan A might not have worked out, but Plan B certainly would with this card. The 8 cards that are showing up for you, Aries, are the Ten of Cups, the first of the two, and Death. So we know that there's definitely some form of endings that you guys are in the month of October considering here, because both cards represent endings. When you get the Ten of Cups, all 10s represent to be full up. So when you get a 10, you get a 10 of Cups, for example, it can mean I am at the height of happiness. I'm at the height of abundance. I'm at the height of feeling emotionally fulfilled. Tens represent the most, feeling the most that you can. So if somebody were to come to me and say, how does John feel about me, and I got the Ten of Cups, I'd say that he feels the most for you. He feels the most, because the 10s are the most. The 10s are where you know, you can't feel any more than a 10. A 10, you know, if you were to say, you know, what do you think about my looks, and somebody were to say to you, you're a 10, they would be saying you're the most, you're the best. So the 10s always represent the most, just as the Ten of Swords is the most pain that somebody can endure. You know, it's going through the most pain, the most discomfort, the most sadness, the most depression. But we always know that when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. So that's where the Plan B comes in with this card as your advice card. If you can't do anything about a particular thing right now, look at plan B. And I feel that this is where the general energy comes in, Aries, that there could possibly be some help available for you if you are assessing your finances in terms of trying to maybe implement some new type of project, whether that's house move, house renovations, whether that's going to college, whether that's changing career, whatever the case might be. Some help should be coming in for you. I tend to feel that this is, when I look at the Seven of Pentacles, it is the card of self-evaluation. It is the card of coming to a crossroads, but it is in the main a card about finances, because it's a financial card. Pentacles represent earthly matters, finances, possessions, outcome of efforts. So with this guy here, he's worked very, very hard, and now he's looking at all the rewards that he's built up according to what he's worked for. But he's just assessing it because he's saying, is it enough? Have I done enough to do what I need to do? So therefore it could be, well, I'm looking at if I've done enough, if I've saved enough maybe to move. Because maybe some of you guys don't have enough. For some of you guys is, have I done enough? Have I saved enough maybe to invest in a new project, a new item of clothing, a new whatever the case might be? I feel it'll be something important though, because you've got this Knight of Wands here. It's either a move or somebody's coming in to help. I don't feel anybody will be coming in to help to you buy clothes if that's the case, and not unless it's for your children, you don't have enough. But yeah, there is the first two cards here, Ten of Cups and the Death card. We know Ten of Cups can mean to feel the most happiness, but I feel that this is why there is a change. Because I feel that the Ten of Cups is not just about feeling the most happiness, it's when you're at that point where you have achieved or you have done all that you can do in a particular area of your life. So it's to feel, I feel with that Ten of Cups, a sense of completion or a sense of completeness in terms of happiness. And sometimes, you know how it goes, that when you get people who are super, super rich and they've got everything that they want, everything, they're completely comfortable with their lifestyle, they don't need anything, they don't want anything. We know that a lot of entrepreneurs are always in search of the next best thing, the new thing, because they've reached a certain pinnacle within their lives and now they're moving on. They want to move on to try something else. So I feel that for some of you guys, you are looking to move on and try something else, because we've got the Death card here. It's not that you're entirely unhappy, I don't feel, with an area of your life. I just feel that you're at the top of something here. We can see with this Ten of Cups. This doesn't say, we didn't have the Ten of Swords and then Death. We didn't have those two cards together. Ten of Swords represents, I've had enough of a situation, a very, very painful situation. I'm feeling very depressed. I can't go on anymore. Therefore, this thing needs to close. It needs to end. I need to change the cycle. We've got a Ten of Cups here that shows up, which shows, Ten of Cups sometimes is, the Tarot is a funny tool, because even though we can explain the Ten of Cups as being the most happy that you possibly can be, it can be that you simply says, I'm saying goodbye to something here, and therefore you're shutting the door on it. But in essence, the Ten of Cups is about the most happiness that you can have. And sometimes, even if we have the most happiness in life, even if we've got the, everything that we want, it doesn't mean to say that we don't want more. Sometimes we just want to experience something different. So I feel that in the month of October, for some of you Aries people, you're just looking at experiencing something a little bit different. It's not to say that you're not happy with what you've had. It's not to say that you don't have happy memories of something. It's not to say that you're completely disgruntled by something. But it is to say, I feel, I've achieved. The Ten of Cups is also the card of achievement. It comes after the Nine of Cups. And on the Nine of Cups, we see somebody who is a very high achiever, somebody who is feeling smug at all of their achievements, all of their accomplishments. And the 10 after this says, it's completion. Well, I've wrapped that up now. I've done everything that I set out to do in this particular area here. And now I need to change tact. Now I need to change cycle on something. And that's where Death comes in. Death is finality. It's the closing of a door. It's the absolute shutdown of a situation. So I feel that there is a change in direction here. Not to say that you haven't been happy and you haven't been fulfilled somewhere in your life. But I just feel that for some of you Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising signs, it's going to be for you guys that you're needing a change. You've done everything you can do in a certain area of your life, and I feel that you're needing a change. And this is where the next cards come in, because we've got the Magician along with Temperance. Now, the Magician card is about as above, so below. So as we look to the divine, as we start creating in ideas, what we're looking to do is manifest them down below. So we're looking to manifest them on earth as we've manifested them in heaven. So upwards. So when you get a Magician, it's about having some amazing ideas that you want to start developing in the real world. And this is why the magician points his wand upwards to the sky, because it's as above. As I start to think, visualize, conceive the ideas, what I want to do with his hand pointing downwards is I want these things to manifest in earth time. So I want them to become true fact. So in other words, for example, I want to set up a new business. Yeah, I could set up a new clothing line. What do I need to do? I'd need to buy the clothes, I need to buy the materials. Yeah, when I do that, maybe then I could set up an online shop. So really, the magician is a very difficult, it's an easy, but then it's a difficult card. Because you need follow-throughs with the magician, because the magician is number one in the major arcana. So really for me, the magician is about setting the ball rolling. It's the card that says, you know, I've got some amazing, amazing ideas. I might want to communicate these ideas to others as well, or I might want to speak to the universe about the ideas that I've got. Because we know that the magician is highly tied in with the law of attraction. If any of you guys know about that, you must do. It's whereby we are putting our intentions out into the universe and expecting the universe to bring them back. So this is a very good card. It's an exceptional card. Because what the magician does, and I've done it, we're all magicians. Everything that you do in life, everything that you're living, Aries, everything that you're experiencing is as a result of the intentions that you put out there. So if you put fear out into the world, fearful things come back to you. If you put positive things out into the world, positive things should come back to you. So the magician card is about manifesting your desires, or just manifesting anyway, because the magician can be for good and it can be for bad. Because that's what life is. And sometimes when we are on a roller coaster of nasty things consistently happening to us, sometimes it's just our fears that are kind of showing up in the everyday life, whether we accept that explanation or not. I've certainly found that magician to be a very, very true part of my life, that I can speak the words on a particular thing, and if it's negative things happen. But if I'm thinking positively and I'm communicating positively, then positive things tend to happen. So the magician card comes in after this 10 of Cups and Death. And as we said about the 10 of Cups, I feel that some of you guys have just reached that point now where you've fulfilled everything that you need to fulfill in a certain area, and now it's time for a big change. Now it's time, not even, you know, the major arcanas, even though we know that they are big energies, so they're energies that have the potential to last a very long time, we also know with the major arcanas that they can represent an energy that just happens in everyday life, because your pip cards, your 2s and your 3s and your 4s and your 5s of any suit, can also have huge impacts on us in our everyday life. And they can actually be cards that teach us some very, very big lessons. So we know that when you get majors, they are big energies, yes, but also the minors. 10 of Cups can be a very big energy, because it can mean moving house, for example. You're saying goodbye to something old and bringing in the new. We see 2 cards here, 10 of Cups, Death. You've reached a crescendo, you've reached the height of something here, but Death takes us over that because it's now time for change. So we're recognising endings with those 2 cards that are very prevalent for some of you Aries, Sun, Moon and Risings in the month of October. From there, with the magician is the number 1 card, so it's looking to start all over again, because it represents the aces, and aces represent the potential of situations, the potential to start again, the potential to start creating something new. It represents, you get an Ace of Cups, the potential for love to open up. Page of Wands, the potential for a new creative path. Page of Pentacles, the potential for a new business idea. Page of Swords, the potential for new ideas, new inspiration to take off, in which we need to then follow through, because we know all the pages are rooted in childishness, young, youthful ideas, and so are the aces. Aces are only potential. Doesn't mean you'll go all the way with it, it just means it's the potential of something. So in that, it's quite small. The magician is bigger, though, than an ace. It rules the aces. So when you've got an idea with the magician, it literally does manifest. Literally. We've got Temperance sitting next door to the magician. So whatever the plan is, whatever the game plan is after this massive change that you guys are looking at, or whatever type of change on whatever level it is in the month of October, Aries, you're going to need to work towards, because you've got the 2 of Cups. So when you get the Temperance card. So you've got 3 majors in a row. So this is, for me, is fairly large energy when we're looking at it, because we're looking at changes, and from changes, it's setting a new game plan with the magician, because as above, so below. So I've got some new, fresh ideas that I want to start working on, that I want to start manifesting. So I'm looking to start all over again with something. It's not that what I'm leaving behind or what I'm kind of putting a little bit on the back burner wasn't satisfactory enough. But for me, I feel at the moment something new needs to happen within my life, because I feel that I've gone as far as I can go in a certain area. It's not that it was completely bad, but I just feel that something needs to... I almost feel like you're having a clean sweep in the month of October 2016, Aries. I almost feel like it's... you're done with a particular area of your life and you're setting new intentions. So I get that you're setting new intentions moving forward in the month of October, and with that comes temperance. And what does temperance mean? It means major adjustments need to be made. It means that we are trying to work with opposing forces, or we're trying to work with difficult situations, because what we're trying to do is find the balance, and we're trying to make things align themselves. So we can see the Magician and a card that basically represents alignment. And this is what we do. I feel that the Magician and the Temperance are talking about, and this again goes back to the law of attraction, that says, okay, with the Magician I have an idea. I'm visualising exactly what it is that I want to do now, after this ending, after this change with the Ten of Cups and the Death card. Now I'm visualising what's next. I'm making plans. I'm on a very much on a head level, I'm creating this new reality. I've got all of the things that I need to do that, but I need to work out how I'm going to kind of put everything together. And that's where the Temperance card comes in, because Temperance card is about alignment. You can get a Magician card, but it doesn't mean that you're aligned with your desires. It just means that you've got some great ideas that you want to manifest. But are you aligned with that? If you're aligned with it, it comes easy. If you're not aligned with it, it becomes very difficult. And that's where Temperance comes in. Temperance is the card when we're trying to align ourselves. So we're trying to align our intentions with our belief system, because that's what alignment is, Aries. Alignment is about having an idea, i.e. the Magician, thinking about how you're going to manifest this thing. So in your communication, in your actions, in your thoughts, it's the thinking of, okay, so I've got these ideas, now I'm looking to manifest this thing into my everyday life. But the Temperance card for me comes in when it says, okay, so what I need to do with the idea is I need to kind of work out a way of how I'm going to do this. So I need to align the project. I need to align the new idea so that I can actually get it moving, so I can actually streamline it. And that's where the Temperance card comes in, because Temperance is a guy who's measuring water from one cup to the other, because he's trying to make sure that both cups have the same amount. So it's about looking at not just aligning stuff, but making sure that whatever it is that you do going forward, Aries, is of benefit to everyone else, because this card is really based on fairness. If you look at the Justice card, for example, Two of Pentacles, those types of cards, somebody's always trying to balance something. They're always trying to create a happy medium. So the Temperance card is about creating a happy medium. So perhaps some ideas that you have, it's about creating a happy medium, making things work, evening things out, these ideas out, so that you can streamline stuff to move forward. And I feel that this is very much why we've got the Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Some of you guys, as I've said, are evaluating a move, but it might not have been easy, which is why, with the Ten of Swords, it might be that there's nothing more that you can do about a particular situation in terms of either evaluating a move or working out what you've got. If that Seven of Pentacles means I don't think I've got enough, I've worked hard and hard, I'm counting up how much money I've got to make this move, or to pursue this new idea. For some of you guys, it might be the energy is help will come in and assist you with this. Because Knights are the helpers. They're the people that come in and they save us a lot of the time. So I feel that, you know, if you're the Magician here, and I feel that you are Aries, and you are now looking to start on a new track, start over, after the ending of a particular area within your life that may not have been completely terrible, but you've done as much as you can do in that area, and now you're looking to do something else. I feel that the ideas that you're looking at, the wishes that you have, the visualizations that you might have been doing, the deliberation that you might have been doing on it, the thinking that you've been doing on it, the communication that you've been doing on it, now you're working out how you're going to kind of put things together and get this new project, home move, whatever you want to call it, moving. So the advice card is the Ten of Swords, and I feel that this has been, because we've got the Ten of Swords as the advice card, it kind of lets me know that this might not have been something easy. Okay, so this might have been going on for quite some time, and it's not been easy, but the Ten of Swords as your advice card says, number one, the worst is over. Number two, give up on anything that's not working. So it's not to give up on the change that I'm seeing in the cards for October, but I feel it's more to give up on a certain... how you've been approaching the situation up until now. Because if something hasn't been working, and sometimes temperance shows up when things haven't been working, and we're trying to find ways of making things working. Okay, you're trying to make something work here because the Magician shows up here as well. So this is the idea. You've been trying to manifest something here, and with the temperance card, you're working on how you're going to get it going, how you're going to get it moving. But I feel that there's something here that tells me, especially with the Ten of Swords being your advice card, that if you haven't had any success with getting a particular area of your life moving after you've shut down in one part, then it says, you know, go to plan B. Because you might as well give up on that, because it's not going anywhere. Okay? And it also says in turn as well that the worst is over. All right, once you start, you get up again and you approach this thing from another area, from another point of view, that's where you're going to hit bullseye. That's where you're going to hit the spot. We also have, which lets me think, is this a housing thing? Is it a move? Is it something to do with a business? Because we've got, you know, pentacle cards all over the show, really. We've got the Three of Pentacles followed by the Page of Pentacles. This to me says to me, some of you guys have got meetings going on in the month of October 2016. There's collaborations. There are talks, there's communication between you and other people. Could be you, your partner, a business advisor, it could be you, your partner, a mortgage advisor, it could be a real estate advisor, it could be anyone that deals with money or earthly matters, things like housing, that type of thing. Because we see the meeting here, when you get Three of Pentacles, it's about teamwork, working with others to achieve a good outcome in a certain area. These people have already laid the plans because they've got the plans in their hands. So for some of you guys, it might be that you're presenting a business idea or a business plan to a bank manager because your idea is with the Magician and you're trying to work out how you're going to get this thing growing with the Temperance card, because you have ended a particular area, not ended it as such, but you're kind of putting something. It doesn't have to be a complete ending, the Ten of Cups, but it means I'm changing cycle. I've made real achievements in one part of my life. Now with the Death card, I'm looking to move on to something else and kind of close that down at the moment while I work on another project, a Magician, and you're trying to work through how you get something going with this card. And therefore, we see a meeting taking place as a result of that, the Three of Pentacles. But I feel that the meeting goes very, very well if some of you guys are going to meetings, if you're collaborating with others, if you're getting investment from others, for example, because you've got a Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles can mean that a business idea, a new startup company, a new startup business is on the table. So this card often shows up when you receive good financial news, when you receive a new opportunity, when you've got a small amount of money. So for some of you guys, it might be a loan that you're getting in the month of October. You might have tried all sorts of ways to do something here. If you've saved up enough, or you've saved up near enough with the Seven of Pentacles, but you're thinking, do I need to make any more because maybe I'm looking to move with the Knight of Wands, it could be, okay, I haven't made enough, maybe for a deposit, for example, that type of thing. So therefore, some of you guys, you might be going to your bank manager, and with that Page of Pentacles, you're approved for a loan. Because the Page of Pentacles means to receive some good financial news. Okay, so it could be that this can also be a contract that you receive as well, the Page of Pentacles, because they're messages, so it can be communication, written form. We know that the Pentacles are the contract. We know that the Swords can be the contract as well. And the Wands, funnily enough. But usually, the Page of Pentacles for me is the contract. So I feel out of a business meeting, you receive some good financial news here. And I feel it could be a check, it can be a contract, it can be anything. But there's a small amount of money that will come to some of you guys. And this will be based on a meeting that you'll have, probably with a bank manager, especially if you're looking to move. You've saved up a certain amount of money, but it's probably not enough and you need a small loan. I'm seeing a small loan for some of you guys. The final card shows the Three of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, and that's a lovely energy to end the reading with, because the Three of Cups is a successful outcome, celebration, happiness. Because see, happiness comes in after you receive this payout, the check, the contract, whatever it is, the good financial news. There's celebration, And what we're seeing here with this Queen of Pentacles is you have the go ahead now to start finalising and making plans going forward. So you literally have the money in the bank, or you have the resources that you need to actually move forward with something that might have been beating you. So it's a really, really good reading, Aries. Really, really good reading. Because what I'm seeing here is there is change. We've got too many change cards not to call it change. Okay? We've got Knight of Wands showing up. We've got Seven of Pentacles. We've got Ten of Cups. We've got Death. We've got the Magician. We've got the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can mean a start-up business. So for some of you guys, you get the go-ahead for a start-up business. Okay? Queen of Pentacles can also be a friend. Somebody who's really, really helpful. All queens are based in water, so they are the state of being rather than doing. When you get kings and queens, all cards represent different facets. So you'll get aces, which represent the potential of a situation. Pages will represent taking activity, being active, on that potential. So you're acting on that thing now with the page. You know, you get your knights, which means they can be messengers. They can also be cards that show changes that come to us. They can also show cards that you're actually taking action on an activity that you've started with the page. And the queens represent being. So they represent how we feel inside, how we put things together. And from the queens, you get the kings, and they actually do all the legwork because they're actually the warriors. So the queens are more about knowledge. So this queen here, after the celebration, what she looks at doing is putting all the plans together. So that can be anything from writing up a business plan or writing down a list. Right, we've got this money here. What do we need to do? What's the first thing we need to do with the money? Yes, we need to contact this. We need to contact that. We need to contact whoever to, buy the building or buy the house or whatever it is. We need to contact the people that we're buying the house from, for example. Do you see where I'm coming from? So everything within this reading has a lovely kind of flowing energy about it. It literally tells a very easy story for me. Okay, I really like this reading a lot because I feel that there is something that some of you Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising have been looking at ways of doing, and you might have fallen short of doing it because there may not have been many avenues or solutions for you. Hence the Ten of Swords being your advice card saying the worst is over. There's a certain way that you were doing something, but it's not yielded any results. So give up on this now, okay? Change tact. Go to plan B. There's other ways of doing things. All is not lost as an advice card. Because all is not lost. The sunset is beginning to rise above this man here. Okay? And I'm just looking at this man's hands. And I don't know whether he's doing this, which is the sign of it will be okay. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that things will be okay. This is what this sign is. And it's like he's doing this with his hands. So even in the midst of despair, this person still has hope because we see the sun rising here in the card and it's rising up to take away the dark clouds. So really as advice card, it's telling you that there is hope in the month of October, okay? That the worst is over, but also if you've been going along a certain track in regards to doing something that you've wanted to do, Aries, for a long time, but it's not been yielding result, then this card really says to give up because there's nothing you can do about it. Change tack, go to plan B. Look at another way of gaining something that you want. Brilliant, brilliant reading. Let's have a look at your angel card, Aries. Universe, Spirit, Angels, what is the advice that you have for Aries in the month of October 2016? What's the advice? Show me the advice card that you've got for Aries. What's the advice card that you have for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising signs? Show me the advice card that you have for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising signs. What's the advice card that you have for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising signs? What's the advice card that you have for Aries, Angels, Sun, Moon and Rising signs? Show me. It's up to you. That's what the card is. It says it's up to you. Let's have a look what the advice is with that. The end result of the situation you're asked about is entirely in your hands. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. Stand in your own power and have confidence that you have what it takes to bring about a happy ending. Brilliant. Don't wait for someone else to rush in and take charge. That's interesting. In order to come to a successful conclusion, this situation requires your unique perspective and experience. And even though I read the Knight of Wands as perhaps coming in and giving some help, I feel that it's the very fact that you are being proactive in the month of October 2016 that might just bring in the help that you don't expect. But really, it's true. It's true what the angels are saying. Be proactive. It's up to you to solve a challenge here. So if something isn't working, don't say that all is lost. Don't give up. Try another tact. Plan B. Because it might just be out of your hands that you can't do something about a particular situation right now. Okay, so what this card is really saying is there's always another way. There is always another way to approach a situation. And I feel that you do it because I can see in the cards that there is a successful meeting here or successful collaboration that brings about either a new business or a check or money. Small amount of money though, I feel it is, because it's the Page of Pentacles. I don't see it being a huge amount of money, a small amount of money, but it's enough. There's a lot of celebration around this, and therefore you go forward with making some plans, rock solid plans, because you have the finance or the resources there to do it. But I'm definitely seeing changes coming in, endings because of that Ten of Cups and the Death card. And we see that you're going to be working with your ideas because you're really serious, I feel, for some of you guys about a particular idea. Whether that's moving home, starting a business, whatever it is, you're really serious about it. And I do feel that you will reach some conclusions in the month of October 2016. That's your reading, Aries, for October 2016, I would like to say. Thank you very, very much for choosing Carol's Universe. And you have your love reading up as well, so check that out. Thank you for your time, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.